Hello and welcome to day 2 of Adobe Live. We're drawing and painting today with Spencer Nugent. Very excited to be back here, you guys. If you missed yesterday, we got the replay for you. Real quick before we go into anything, I want to just say hi to you guys. We've got All Black Creatives Foundation. Heyo, what's up? Kathleen Illustrated. Hey. Lovely to see you. Golden Rose saying good morning, afternoon, folks. Cody Bear, thank you so much for being here. Hey Farah, hey Michelle, hey Eric. Thank you guys all for being here. It's lovely to see your names and avatars in forms of faces, I guess. Today we've got a packed schedule. We started the day with the new show with Paul Tranny. We then went into... Oh, I don't have the schedule for today. Okay, so 1 second. I have to look at the schedule real quick. And where is that? Absolutely, but it's not pinned, unfortunately. Well, we started the day with... here we go. I see it. There we go. Tips and tricks with Valentina V. So sorry, you guys. Then at 9 a.m., we went into the Photoshop DCC with Kathleen Martin. Hey, Kathleen. That was amazing. Whoop, whoop. Then we've got us with drawing and painting with Spencer. After us, there's going to be the Illustrator DCC, then web design with Jocelyn, and then we've got the XD Daily Creative Challenge with Howard at the end of the day. Woo! We got through it, you guys. So sorry about that. But also, thank you again for being here. And this is day 2 with Spencer. And I want to talk a little bit about Spencer and what you do. So for people who weren't here yesterday, can we just introduce you a little bit, Spencer?
Sure. So I'm Spencer Nugent. I'm an industrial designer by trade and training. I fancy myself a creator and educator these days, do a lot of speaking, workshopping, teaching, still design, still creative. I'm online, really easy to find, and I'm just always doodling or drawing something. So that's just a little bit about myself. Oh, and I'm from Jamaica. I live in Utah, which I think yesterday I said was weird, but you guys tell me.
Jamaica straight to Utah.
There's not a lot of Jamaicans here in Utah. Not a lot of us.
Now there is.
But as I like to say, diversity begins somewhere. So
absolutely
doing my part.
And I wanted to show off your Instagram real quick, as well as your side project, as you call it. So first, We've got sketchaday.com, which your concept here is you do a sketch a day. Whoa.
Yeah, a long time ago, after I graduated from design school, I realized that my skills were slipping a little bit. You know, when things shift from being assignment-based to self-driven, sometimes things can kind of slip. And so I wanted to basically promised myself I was going to keep sketching. And the best way to make yourself do something, I think this was a question actually yesterday, is to make yourself accountable.
Yeah, that was the how do you self-discipline? And you were like, well, discipline, but like accountability. Yeah. It's a great tip.
The internet is relentless and unforgiving. if you haven't figured that out yet. So promising the internet that you're going to do something is it's an interesting proposition. So I've
quite the promise.
Yeah, I've kept up on it. I do draw something every day.
Absolutely. And now I want to talk a little bit about your side project. Do you want to tell us a bit about this?
Sure. So 50/50 is a side experiment that I came up with, and my sister is a part of it. She's also a fine artist, creative. Specifically in her day job, she's a UX designer, actually super talented. But anyhow, we sometimes work together, and we did a project a few years ago where we created some pieces for charity, and I wanted to keep riffing on that project. So I was taking bottles and turning them into vessels.
Very cool.
So VSL is the evolution of that project, where I actually have a CNC router, a 3D printer. I come up with 3D models for all the parts and learn to cut bottles. and came up with a series of concepts. Now, as you know, the pandemic's happening. So I I wanted to show these off, but I didn't necessarily want to go the route of having a gallery. So I actually
Right.
put together an outdoor show on my
Ooh,
driveway last summer, and it was
that's so
awesome. So
cool.
yeah, there's pictures from the show there if you guys want to check those out. Down, it's like scroll if you scroll down on the page, you'll see those. But did a floor series, a tabletop series, and then some blocks as well. But these are all made by me.
So cool. This is just such a great example of showing people that when you're creative, it doesn't have to be in just one form. It's so
Yeah,
cool to see this.
exactly. So, I took a furniture class in college, and that kind of set me up to experiment and do a lot of different things. And I think just having the willingness to try something, failure is an opportunity to learn.
And like joinery or something, it looks like this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Got all
Yeah.
these skills.
So this is one example. I also build furniture sometimes for clients, but usually just for fun.
Oh my gosh, this dipped look is so cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This is so awesome. I love encouraging people to really look deep into what they create and why they make it in that form. So this is a perfect example of just being like, yeah, Spencer does it all.
Yeah, it was an interesting process because I didn't really impose a constraint on myself. This was more so, hey, I want to make some lighting. I have some materials, I have some ideas, and I'm just gonna go with it.
I got a bottle and a
Um,
dream, people.
exactly. I mean, yeah.
Oh, love it. Well, let's talk about what you're doing today for the live show and go into what we did maybe a little bit yesterday.
Awesome. So today we're going to continue with our piece that I started here. I was tempted to work on it overnight, but I decided, you know what? I want to show you guys how I continue to work. So we're going to keep finishing it out. We started blocking in colors, shapes. We sketched up concepts for a ship. And now we're kind of working on lighting and texture. So we'll keep going ahead with that. As an aside, I did want to just, because this is in my nature, show you guys a little bit of how I think about lighting
Mhm.
and as I look at these objects, what exactly am I thinking in terms of how to shade them. So as an aside, let's go ahead and I'm going to make a new document. This is Adobe Fresco. If you guys are unfamiliar, you can download it for free actually and jump right in if you have an iPad Pro and I
Yeah.
believe a Microsoft Surface Pro or certain Wacom enabled devices. You'll be able to install it. And I
Very
think
nice.
I think some NVIDIA enabled computers as well. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys 3 quick examples of lighting. So I'm going to start with cylinder here.
Hey, talking about lighting.
And let's do a sphere. Remember, a sphere in perspective is going to be a sphere. Sorry, looks like I disconnected.
Oh, you're back.
All right, we're good. All right.
Mhm.
And I'll do a cube as well. Just a
Now,
simple.
have you done your line practices today?
I have not. I'm coming in cold, but it's okay. It's
We were
okay.
talking about that yesterday, guys. A few of the techniques to train your hand.
So one thing I try to do in terms of lighting a scene is think of a primary light source, so primary, secondary, and then reflected light. So I'll explain that real quick. So in terms of, we'll start with the cube since it's probably the easiest. Okay, if I have a light source, here's my little light bulb here, and we'll just use the pencil to keep it simple.
Mhm.
And let's say I have 3 surfaces, 1, 2, and 3. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, 3 is the farthest away from the light source, so that's going to be the darkest.
Mhm.
All right, and I'm going to do something here toward the bottom that maybe won't make sense right away, but you may notice that as I'm shading this, I'm shading with a little bit of a gradient. The reason for that is even though I have a primary light source, let's imagine that my cube or my box is on a surface. That surface is going to receive secondary light, whether the light bounces off a wall or maybe there's another light, studio light on, say, this side. Light's going to hit this surface that the cube is resting on and reflect back into it. So whenever I shade something, I try to implement a dynamic lighting scheme. Okay, so if you shade things in and you shade them flat, it's likely going to deaden your painting, illustration, drawing, or whatever. On the second surface here, I'll now take essentially this mid-tone, right, and start to shade down here. Not sure what's going on here. Hold on. I'm gonna disconnect my iPad and reconnect it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
totally.
guys.
It's totally fine. We actually have some chat comments I'd love to read.
All right.
One of them being Reverb Mike saying, I'd buy that lamp. We love to hear it.
Awesome.
And Cody is reminding us that later we are doing the artist spotlight, which is a really cool feature of the live stream. So we get to highlight one of you guys. And there is a tab above the chat if you want to be nominated. You can nominate yourself or somebody that you just love the artwork of. And you can do that. And in the future, we will spotlight you.
Awesome. All right. I think I figured out the connection issues. So we'll see how this goes. But so taking that midtone and then shading down now. And we can even go darker on the far side here. And I did mention this yesterday as well. Lightest lights against darkest darks. That's going to give you that contrast you're after and communicate the three-dimensionality. So shading in a way like that can help bring your drawing to life. So remember, if you shade with a gradient, okay, like so, for example, it's going to help you have a more dynamic scene. All right. You can throw things in like reflections as well, like so. And if we're away from the light source, I believe in the spaceship scene, you'll see where I've kind of projected a shadow across. So even shading in this little section here, you can fill that in. And now we have a more realistic lighting scheme. Of course, taking care to shade this in would improve the visual appearance overall. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure why it keeps dipping out here.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's totally fine. It seems to come back after a few seconds.
Let me see.
It's like we're blinking.
I guess it is a little bit like we're blinking. I'm gonna turn off my share and flip it on again.
Yeah, absolutely. Beep, bop. Whoop, whoop. And I just wanted to read out another comment, which I wanted to say when we were doing the sphere, but it's pretty clever. Reaver Mike says, all we have to sphere is sphere itself. Very clever.
Awesome. Kendall says drawing class flashback. You know, it's interesting. I do a lot of teaching online, and you know, I draw a lot. I think it's important to remember the basics still. So, for example, with this sphere, I'm now lighting from this direction, but with a sphere, there tends to be what's called a shadow core, and we're going to get that somewhere here, and then we can shade toward a highlight spot. And if you're really careful, you can get that nice and even. Again, the pencil brush in Adobe Fresco is
long blink, Kendall.
Okay.
Anthony Jackson is also asking, do you usually shade from light to dark?
I usually work lightest lights to darkest darks in terms of shading. So I'll go light and then darken up as well. Okay, we're gonna try a little different thing here and see if it works. Technology's amazing, but sometimes, you know.
It's fallible, and especially doing a stream and everything. Sorry if we're staying quiet for a second. We listened to Paco in our ear, you know, our god Paco. And so but it's, you know, the nature of streams. Sometimes the things want to just give us a little guff, but we're happy to be here with you guys and just chit chat as well while we're working out the problems. So I'm gonna talk to the chat a little bit. Let's see here. Kendall says, hearing the words from my drawing teacher, darker darks, lighter lights. I mean, Spencer's all of our teacher, right? We got long blink from Kendall. Cody oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna be back in 2 minutes real quick. We're gonna just work out this issue and we will be back here drawing with Spencer. See you soon. Welcome back to Adobe Live. Woo! This is the first time I got to say that, but in the middle of the stream. Hey, so we're back, and hopefully everything's working peachy keen jelly bean.
I've returned from the interdimensional void of nothingness.
Spencer, he went across the galaxy for us, so I hope you guys appreciate it. Everybody's talking about eggs in the chat because obviously this is the time to talk about eggs, and to render a sphere. Hey, it could be like the yolk of our egg.
I suppose a sphere is kind of like an egg in a sense where, if you're shading an egg, the shape would be a little bit different, but the idea is similar in the sense that we are. Looks like I'm cutting again. I'm so sorry. Let's see if let's do the air try. We'll do the AirPlay share again, and I'll try that.
Okay, wait 1 sec. I'll share my screen.
The internet gods are angry at us today.
So angry. What have you done to do this? Paco says Spencer just interstellared us. What did you learn from your trip? What is the truth of the universe? Oh.
Let's see. Oh, it's working with AirPlay?
Seems to be.
I am trying AirPlay right now. Well, it was the cable.
Kendall says, I remember being told to draw eggs too. Yes, draw eggs. Aren't we all told that at some point? Cody says, instead of eating eggs, we'll have a lesson on drawing them. I'm into it. Eggs are a really good also actual thing. Eggs are a good example of using contrast to show your materials.
All right. Okay. Woo.
Boom, we got it.
Man. All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Tuesday I think is traditionally Taco Tuesday, but I think it's Terrible Tuesday today. Or maybe Troublesome Tuesday. How about that?
Troublesome Taco Tuesday.
It is frozen right now.
Draw 1, draw 2, draw your face.
All right. Well, we'll go with the cable and see how that goes. Apologies, everyone.
I don't mind the long blinks if we need to.
All
yeah.
Right. All right.
Cuddy Bear's starting a hashtag Troublesome Tuesday. Kendall says Tech Tuesday. I know. Seriously. What the heck?
Okay. Cool. We'll go with the long blinks if they happen.
Absolutely. We'll all just blink together when it happens, right?
So similar approach there. I have no idea, guys. It was working fine yesterday.
I
And
know.
then with a cylinder, I'll put the shadow on the same side. Head. Let's go.
Are we good on the internet?
My internet's fine.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
All right, let's see if I can do
General
one more
Kenobi
thing
says
here.
excellent.
One more thing.
We can try. Try everything.
Okay.
All right, we're going standby real quick. We'll be back in a minute. Sorry, guys. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and talking about eggs with us. It's been real fun in the chat. Thank you, Spencer, for being so patient and everything. We're just
No
working on
problem.
technical
Thank you
stuff.
guys. Yeah, so similarly with the cylinder, this is kind of how I shade it. And this is a product design technique that I learned, but it certainly applies, at least for me, in terms of illustration, whether this is a tree trunk or this is a ball or some section of something. So our spaceship, like I described yesterday, is essentially a bunch of these cylinders connected together. So as I'm shading, you'll notice that, at least once I get back to the spaceship, this is kind of how I'm shading with those shadow cores. And why am I mentioning this? Well, it really does help your paintings, illustrations, drawings come alive if you understand light and how to shade things that are real. Okay.
For sure.
So, and then in terms of cast shadow, I had mentioned this yesterday, but I try to think of, okay, if I look at this from the top, okay, it's going to look something like that, a circle, right? So if I have a light that is coming from, say, this side, and I want to cast a shadow, I'll just draw two lines like so, and then take this shape on the top and draw that shape on the ground and shade that in. And there I have my shadow. So if
Nice.
shadows are confusing, try to think of it. It's almost like the skew tool in Illustrator or Photoshop. You kind of take this shape and skew it and place it toward the bottom. At least I do in my brain.
Right. I've
And
seen people do that literally, where they're just like, ah,
yeah,
skew.
it's not entirely accurate, but it's a great shortcut for sure.
Hmm.
But there's a little quick aside on shading for you guys and lighting. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful and clarifies a little bit of my approach here. So
For sure.
back to our lovely painting. It looks like we're stable and working. So I'm
Woohoo!
glad I'm glad our little
You'll love to see it.
tech wizardry is working out for us here.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Thank you
yes.
so much for doing that for us,
Yeah,
Spencer,
yeah, no
and Paco
problem.
for helping out.
Thanks, Paco. Paco's got our back. All right. So yesterday we kind of worked on the ship here, texture. We were working on our rivets, so we'll keep going on those.
Oh yeah, all the little rivets. You're like, this is
Yeah.
a little painstaking, but
I mean, I can move a little quicker. It's not a big deal, but
oh no, no, no. It's we love to see it. It's so satisfying to put those kind of details in. So I'm down to just like watch you do that all day.
I just figured out another band name. We've been working on band names on the show, I guess.
Clearly.
Satisfying rivets.
Satisfying rivets. Okay, what
Yeah.
kind of music would that be?
That would be my reggae classical fusion group.
I'm
So
into it. I would
Mo-
so listen to that.
Mozart meets Bob Marley.
Yes. Three little birds. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That was my
Yeah.
Mozart. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Since I am a jack of all trades, I mean, I don't know, maybe many creatives have dabbled in music at some point, but I was a part of a band for a bit.
No way.
And fun side note, I did try out for American Idol once.
No way. Oh
I
my
did.
gosh. Wait, what was it like? Experience. We need the inside scoop.
It was good, but it also made me disenchanted with reality TV because you realize how much of it's produced, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was in San Francisco at the time, living there, and my brother had said, "Hey, if you audition for American Idol, I will fly out and I will be there and I will support you." I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Aww.
I called his bluff. Well,
Then do it.
yeah, we have a little bit of a competitive relationship. Anyhow, so I call his bluff. He shows up. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing this.
Yes. Oh man.
So what did it involve? It involves waking up at 2 in the morning and being at a venue by 3 or so, and then you basically wait all day. So I waited all day. This was at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Waited all day, and the interesting thing is there's so much energy and excitement. You're
For sure.
talking to everyone. So by the time came for me to actually sing, my voice was shot.
No.
Yeah, right around.
Sorry, too much talking.
I recall right around. I think it was 12:30, 1 p.m. I could just feel my vocal cords straining, and I was like, "Oh no."
Darn.
So yeah.
That's what happened.
Now I just stick to karaoke.
Okay, we gotta do
Yeah.
karaoke next time
Yeah.
I'm in Utah.
Yes, absolutely. Or San Francisco or wherever.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a go-to for
I
karaoke?
knew you were gonna ask that.
How did you know? Mind reader.
I typically sing a CeeLo song that
Ooh.
was popular a few years ago, and then I do some John Legend stuff, Bob Marley. I'm a huge Frank Ocean fan as well, which isn't. I mean, it's not necessarily a crowd pleaser when it comes to karaoke, but
But it pleases you, and that's what's most important.
if it pleases the king, yes, the king of the moment,
Exactly. Oh man.
then I'm good.
It's an important decision. So
yeah. So like we talked about yesterday with these panels, to get them to feel like panels, I'm trying to paint lights next to darks. It's really small. When you zoom out, you can kind of see that detail starting to show. I did have a thought though when I was contemplating, okay, what am I going to add to this scene? So I have my figure here that I'll start to shade in. I do want to add some more, I think, figures to the scene. So I'm going to add, especially for scale, it'll kind of help establish position, right? Whatever they're doing.
I just have to scream at Cody in the chat real quick.
Oh,
She said that someday she's living near me now. She moved up here and she was saying that someday when we can hang out, she'll give me some sourdough starter. I'm like, yes, please, Cody.
oh, nice.
Yes.
And you're in the Northwest, right?
Yeah, we're in Portland area up
Oh,
here in
okay.
Oregon.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. It's
Right.
super nice, but I need sourdough starter. That's one of my big goals. Sorry, we were talking about eggs and then it got into bread and just the flow of things in the chat. The
All the
hive mind.
all the yummy things.
Of course.
All the yummy things.
I like these haunting figures. They make it feel like there's like, I don't know, like what have you done? You've come here.
What have you done? Who are you? So for me it's a way to I'm trying to think of the right phrasing here. Put pins down, I guess, or points of interest in the sketch that I want to revisit and focus on later.
Sure.
So putting in some hard darks and lights kind of helped me do that.
And it also just, I don't know, it balances, I think, everything in the picture where you have that, I guess, compositional skill to put together a nice, like you said, I guess, pins for the eye to bounce around to.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Idea there.
Kendall says she just got a new bread. I think it's called a lom, which is what you cut into it with. It's like a razor.
The bread?
Yeah, you make like big incisions on the top of the bread before you bake it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the lom is what you use for that. It's basically just a razor blade on like a stick. It's very simplified, but anyways, good for you, Kendall.
I'll have to look that up. I haven't heard of that before.
You haven't gotten into baking yet? Out of your many skills?
I mean, I do bake. I bake some Jamaican treats since they're hard to find, but
love that. Do you have a favorite Jamaican treat?
Too many. But yes, so as part of my culture, I guess food is important, and it's a social thing, and particularly around Easter and Christmas time, there are specific foods that we eat. So at Easter, I guess that's coming up.
Yeah.
There's the Jamaican Easter bun. So if you've never had that, it's pretty good.
So bun, like not bunny, but bun.
Yeah, bun, exactly. So it's essentially a sweet bread, and not in a sense that you go to a restaurant and order sweet breads and you might not want to eat what you get.
Guys, just if you don't know, that's like brain stuff, right?
It's like intestines or brain or something. Yeah, it's some sort of innard that
Google that.
is likely not sweet. That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's a lie, basically.
Yeah, it's all a lie. That's right. That's right. So yeah, Easter bun, and then there's fruitcake in the United States gets a bad rap, but
cake in my life, so I don't know. But I want the Jamaican fruitcake.
You're missing out, man.
I'm sure I am, because it seems like one of those like you have to have it at some point in your life kind of things. But I always wanted like a good version, like a quality fruitcake, not the ones that they say you can have for like 10 years or whatever.
Well, next time, if you're in, have you been to Utah?
No, I never have. I really
it's beautiful.
Need to go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we have 5 national parks.
5
national parks.
Getting all up in Utah.
All right, I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna merge these. I'm gonna merge these layers down and just YOLO it.
Oh my gosh, it's happening! Everybody, hold on to your seats.
So now we're in the YOLO phase of my painting.
I always do that too. Yeah, just at some point you got to just paint it out. Yep. Can we come up with a rhyme for
that? I don't know. Maybe the chat can help us. We had 2 rhymes yesterday. When in doubt, rough it out, and light until you get it right. I think wasn't there another one someone came up with?
There are a few mottos put in the chat. There are so many, and some Star Wars related ones. It was a great time. And so I feel like we could make up a few more today,
Yeah, but we'll probably need the chat's help for that.
Absolutely. Paloma says Jamaica is beautiful, and I cried at the airport when I had to leave.
Oh,
that's amazing.
thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I haven't been back in a while, but it's a great place.
Well, I'm going to go to Utah, and then we're both going to go to Jamaica. Okay.
Okay. Deal.
That's what's going to happen. I'll just kidnap you. Take you with me.
As long as you bring me back.
Oh man, Kendall made a brioche bun the other day. Actually, several. They were their burger buns, and she posted that on my Discord, and they looked like very shiny brown little orbs. They were so shiny. But is that kind of what is the bun like for the Easter bun? What kind of bun is it?
Oh, so when I say Easter bun, that's what it's mixed. What's called mixed peel, which sounds weird, but cherries, some citrus stuff in it.
Is it like citrus peels?
It's called mixed. I'm not sure actually. It might be candied orange peel is what it might be. But yeah, it sounds weird. And what's even weirder, well, I'll tell you what's weird. What's even weirder is how you eat it. So you eat it with, so it sounds weird. And usually when I tell people, they're like, what?
I need to taste that someday. Like
cheddar cheese.
It's one of those like can't put together in my mind.
Yeah, but once you taste it, you realize the brilliance therein. Wow. The brilliance of the bun.
Well, that's got so I'll bring the cheddar, you bring the loaf. Sound good? Or bun.
Yeah, absolutely. True story though. I almost moved to Tillamook.
No way. What?
Yeah.
What's the story?
I was just thinking about random places to live, you know, as a creative.
What's more random than Tillamook?
Exactly. As an independent middle of nowhere, you know, interesting. Always loved Tillamook cheese, so I thought about it.
Well, I would say definitely go for a visit first, because everybody who drives through Tillamook will tell you, and probably everybody that lives there, it smells interesting. It's an agricultural area. There are a lot of cows, and with cows comes a lot of smells.
Yes.
So
yes,
you can literally, like, going through the town, you can smell it just in your car. So yeah, I'm sure you get used to it. But...
Good times.
Everybody's got to go to the factory though, because it's so much fun. It's, you know, you get to see the cheese being made. There's like a little sample area, and then of course there's Tillamook ice cream at the end.
Oh, Tillamook ice cream.
Very choice.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It really is. I love it all. So yeah, that's one of our like local things to see. I was just talking about Multnomah Falls the other day as well. Have you ever seen that? Have you been to Oregon?
I've done a lot of things, Anna.
Tell me about them, Spencer.
So a few summers ago, I decided to take a road trip on the West Coast, and I just left home for about a week, and I just drove. And so actually I went up to Oregon. I went all the way up. No, did I go to Washington? No, I didn't make it to Washington. I went up to Oregon, went through Astoria.
Oh my gosh, my grandparents are from Astoria. I love Astoria. It's so close to my heart. Love Astoria.
Awesome. Yeah, I went through Astoria, Cannon Beach, Lincoln City, went all the way down through the Redwoods, did the whole PCH thing, ended up in Sausalito, and then head back through Old Town Sacramento, and then back home. So
very nice.
Yeah, it was super fun.
If you guys haven't tried road trips in the chat, like, road trips are the best way to experience a large country like this, I think.
I agree. America is special that way. You know, you can drive a lot of places.
Yeah, and all of them are extremely different. My partner James, he was going to Idaho with his friend, and he was taking just the highway across the state of Oregon, and we're like a lush forest kind of area. Then there's like Cascade Mountains, and then you get out to Eastern Oregon, and it's full on
dry
desert.
Yep.
Yeah. And so he was like looking around out the window, looking at this desert area, and he's like, wow, Idaho is so different. And his friend was like, James, we're still in Oregon.
Yep. It's beautiful though. Utah's similar in a sense. You've never been, but northern Utah as opposed to southern Utah is it's quite the difference. Southern Utah feels like you are on another planet.
I love it. I want
Yeah.
again, Interstellar. Let's go.
Yeah,
Go
you
to
mentioned
space.
you mentioned Zion National Park.
Hmm.
I haven't been there actually, but
Hmm.
it's I think there's Zion, there's Bryce, there's Arches, Canyonlands, I believe, and there's
Ooh,
another one, but there's 5 national parks here.
that is so cool. All right, I'm gonna
Um,
spend a lot of time in Utah
yeah,
someday.
yeah, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, lots of beautiful country.
Absolutely. And that's what I love is just the sheer diversity. Again, in Oregon, I feel like I've just hit the tip of the iceberg in terms of like what we can explore here. And then you get into other states and it's just like, oh my gosh, it just keeps going. There's so much to see and so many, you think of like desert. That doesn't mean one thing. It's so many different things that it can be. And rock structures, if you get into geology of it all, oh my gosh, the world opens up. So cool.
Absolutely.
We have the Painted Hills here, which I really, really want to see someday. It's one of the 7 wonders of Oregon, as the ads say.
Never heard of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's basically like these rolling hills that are layers of sediment. You can see the lines of all the sediment that's settled and everything, and it looks like they're just painted with brushstrokes. Beautiful colors.
Very cool. Yeah, I haven't,
Hmm.
haven't heard of that.
Well, there was this ad campaign. We've actually had a lot of great ad campaigns in Oregon, but one of them was called the 7 Wonders of Oregon. So you could go around to everywhere and get like stamps or something on your pass. And there was, of course, Crater Lake and like big things like that. But then the Painted Hills that not everybody knew about. And then our latest one, you guys, if you're fans of animation, check out the it's only slightly exaggerated ad campaign. It's like a Ghibli movie but set in Oregon. It's amazing. So beautiful. I want everybody to come to Oregon so they understand exactly how accurate it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do recall coming across some sand dunes or something
Mm.
by the coast as well. Have you in
Oh yeah.
Oregon? Have you seen those or been there?
I don't know if it's specific dunes. I've seen basically all of the Oregon coast for
Oh,
sure.
okay. Okay.
But the beaches again, it's like saying a beach is one thing. It's so many different things. Like every beach is ridiculously different. I've been to some that are like just rocks the size of like your head are just the entire beach. And when the waves come in, all you hear is this and then it goes back and it's like because
For
all the rocks
those
are moving.
for those who have no idea what we're talking about, if you've seen the movie Goonies or heard of the movie Goonies, Astoria, I believe, is where the Goonies house is.
I think it might be south of that the actual houses, but a lot of it was filmed in
Yeah,
Astoria.
somewhere around
Yeah.
there. And the Haystack Rock is at Cannon Beach, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a big one. Cannon Beach is basically like exactly west of where I am right now. So it's like one of the most accessible
Oh, okay.
places. And then Astoria. Oh man, I love Astoria so much. But have you ever been to Peter Iredale, the shipwreck on the beach?
I have not. I didn't know that. That's a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
an old shipwreck, I think from the 1800s, and the old iron hull, the skeleton of the ship is still sunken into the beach sand. And it's like slowly deteriorating and everything, but it's just beautiful. And that's actually where I got engaged.
Oh,
Yeah. And speaking of bottles, when you're making the lights of them, I was going to mention James proposed to me with a note in a bottle on the beach.
that is lovely.
It was so cool, but we grew an appreciation for cool bottles through that for sure.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
So
Uh,
I
also,
just I
oh, sorry,
just
go ahead.
decided to add some module to this ship. So just kind of freestyle
Super
painting here.
cool. Yeah, just adding what you feel like it wants.
Yeah.
Is this for power or is this like
I'm
gassing up?
not sure. Maybe
You got to
it's
give us a story.
maybe it is gassing up some power refinery thing. I don't know.
I like it.
Or a
Giving
sensor.
the juice.
Could be a sensor.
Ferry has a question.
All right.
Do you have any tips on how to learn about lighting?
Um, good question. There are always books. Books are great. I there's a book called How to Render that was super helpful for me. It's by Scott Robertson as well. There's also other books or resources that you can find online, but I would say most importantly is just paying attention. So one thing I've begun to appreciate in my older age is just taking a minute to just pause and look at things. So if you just stop and look at, say, a sunset, you can gain an appreciation for warm, cool lighting, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and see how your perception of shadow and light changes depending on time of day, relative position, things like that.
How
So
many suns you have, you know?
yeah, exactly. How many suns you have? You got two suns.
Perfect reference.
Yeah. So for me, that's probably been the most helpful. I don't know. What do you think, Anna?
Oh, for lighting, I think that's more than I could ever say. I I think you've got great references there. Scott Robertson, super solid. And I mean, to me, lighting gets into a lot of stylistic talk because there's a lot of references for realistic lighting. That is definitely what you should do foundationally. You need to understand what the world actually looks like when lit. I would also suggest just plein air painting if you can, even if it's with an iPad or whatever. But going out and observing color in the real world is so valuable. Like I can't
Yes. Yeah.
over emphasize how important that is.
Thank you for the backup. But yes, absolutely. Plein air drawing, painting, as I said yesterday, drawing from observation, which is really just a play on words. Pulling from observation, learning from observation.
Right.
That's gonna help you know what to do.
For sure. I also love using like bounce lights and colors in a really playful way. A good reference for that is Tonko House. I love their productions a lot. They did The Dam Keeper, if you guys know that. And a lot of the ways that they use the color is like based in reality, but definitely stylized to make it very pleasant to look at. Where it's just like, soft and pastel.
What was that called again?
Tonko House is the production
Tonko
company.
House.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tonko. And that's
House.
Dait Tsutsumi and Robert Kondo, I believe, were the ones who founded that.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Definitely.
I'm terrible with names though. Like
completely.
Whenever someone's like, "Hey, who's your favorite illustrator artist?" I'm like, user 4561 on Instagram. I don't know. Just I follow this account. I don't know their name.
For sure. I feel like it takes me about 5 years to remember something. So if you guys are like, well, you named Tonko House, it's like it took me a long time of repeating it again and again.
Yes.
General Kenobi says, your intuition serves you well. Thank you. I love it.
All right. So I'm just kind of silhouetting some interactions here. Maybe this person or figure is, touching this canister or something to do with it here. And we'll kind of figure that out, but far enough away that I won't have to focus on the details as much. And maybe there's some weird alien monoliths in this landscape. I did promise a robot yesterday though, so
we gotta have a robot.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add a robot to the scene. Maybe I'll replace this foreground character with a robot. I love drawing robots. I'm a robot stan.
Honestly, this was reminding me a bit of the scene in iRobot, the drawing he did and everything.
I mean, I did reference that yesterday, so
I know it's all coming together.
Maybe subconsciously.
It's in there.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously.
That's one of James's favorite movies. It's that and Men in Black constantly. We actually have like a Blu-ray box set of both of them together.
Oh, really?
I guess it's the Will Smith box set. I'm not sure.
I guess so.
That's on constant replay.
All right.
Also, we got to give a name to this ship.
I mean, if we're going to, the chat was talking about eggs earlier. It's not egg shaped, but we could call it the egg beater.
Egg beater. I love it. Well, you said it actually was shaped like a chick the other day too.
Yeah, I did. Where if I drew a wing like this, kind of looks like a bird.
Its wings are just lifted up in the back, like
yeah,
wing.
Exactly. The egg beater.
Cute. I love it.
I guess I've got to decide if it's an alien ship or human ship, though.
That's a good question. I mean, is it going to be like, is there any difference, or is it just for us for the lore?
Well, I think it's just for us, but we did pull from reference yesterday. If you guys missed that, so if you're wondering why does this ship look so weird, we were
So awesome, you mean?
I was pulling some inspiration from old World War II craft and
Mm-hmm.
vessel, and I think I may actually change the cockpit just a little bit here. Kind of want it to
Ooh.
be a little bit more of a bubble.
See, that's the reason you keep the reference around, is you never know what's going to inspire you from it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I want to make this more of a bubble. But I will add some writing to the side of the ship. So whatever name we decide.
That makes me so happy. I just love that about the reference so much. So it's perfect. Cody says the ship did start out looking like a chicken. Could we
Yes,
have it lay eggs, but they're bombs or something? It's a
we
bombardier.
could. We could. Absolutely. Yeah, I like the spherical cockpit way better.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome looking. And I also just love the idea of more glass. Like greenhouses and conservatories make me very happy. So things like that. I want a dome on my house someday. And Angela says, yeah, a robot will add some mystery. I like the idea. Oh, yeah.
Well, either a robot or a robot companion. I'm still kind of riffing on it in my head as we go here. So one thing I've noticed about myself, people ask, where do you come up with ideas? How do you get creative, stay creative, things like that. A lot of times I'll actually design or create things in my head outside of actually having my stylus or pen to canvas or paper. I don't know how it is for the rest of you creatives out there, but that's just how it's always been for me. Is I'm kind of able to imagine things or design things in my head, if you will.
Absolutely. There's this thing, I think it's aphantasia, right? Where it's whether you can imagine things in your head clearly, like a visual.
Oh, there's an actual term for that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I believe it's the lack of the ability to do so is called aphantasia. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. But it came about on Twitter where artists were like, can you imagine an apple in your head? Can you turn it? What color is it? Do you like see details of it? And then people figured out like, oh, I don't see it like you do. Like I can't turn it around in my head, or like I see it flat and or like it comes in and out of focus, that kind of thing.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've always had the ability to visualize things. And I mentioned I was a math major before. Even when I was studying calculus, I would envision the problem in a visual way so that I could comprehend and tackle it. Yeah, I was always trying to draw or visually figure it out. When I was doing computer science, I was trying to like actually imagine, okay, what do these structures look like if I were to make them visual?
Right.
So I guess I've just always been a visual person, even if I didn't realize it.
Definitely. I very much envy the ability for math problems to show up visually in your mind, because that's always my problem. I'm like, I have to write it down or else I can't solve it.
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to creativity, in the sense that like, and I don't mean to paint with a broad stroke, pun intended. But a lot of creatives I know struggle with math or hard sciences, things like that. Struggled, I should say. But I was never a fan of literature, things like that, language arts. I always struggled with those.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think that everybody comes from a different path, and that's the real fun of it. But there are some, like, I guess, through lines of like, yeah, we all hate math or whatever. That was a thing in art school where it's like, thank goodness we don't have to take math. And then, of course, they threw a gen ed, like math class at us.
I know, right?
Darn it. I always liked math while I was learning it, but not just for funsies. And I think that's a big failing sometimes of math classes, that people aren't taught, like, or kids, I guess, aren't taught how to do it in a fun way. It's just do it so you pass the test. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
It's unfortunate. But by the way, we have about a half hour left before we do our artist spotlight. So if you guys want to be featured in the next spotlight, there is a tab right above the chat where you can put your name in or a name of an artist that you love, and we can spotlight them. Woohoo! Oh, and Paloma says, yeah, aphantasia is the lack of that ability. Awesome. Got that right. And Cody Bear says, oh, yeah, that's definitely how I see things. I imagine scenes in my head before I draw them. Very visual. Very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not, for me, crystal clear. I think I got a question. I'm not sure if I got a question on the show yesterday or on my own YouTube stuff, but someone was asking me, hey, do your sketches or drawings always turn out the way you envision? And the answer is no. For me, it's no. It's not always the case that they look exactly like I envisioned, but I do try and reference what I think or feel my drawing should look like, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was on the stream yesterday, so thank you for answering that one. But yeah, I don't know anybody who gets fully like, oh yeah, it came out of my head onto the page perfectly, exactly how I imagined it. I don't know anybody like that. Probably just because art takes time, and through that time you kind of lose that initial image, and what you come up with can be completely different, and that's kind of the beauty of it.
Absolutely. All right, so did we figure out a name for our ship?
Ooh, I mean, the egg beater I'm still very into.
The egg beater? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this guy into a robot.
Do it. It's sunny. So what kind of things are you thinking of while making him into robot? Like, what's to mind?
Some of it's structure. So in terms of body shape, or is it an anthropomorphic robot in the sense that it looks like a human in this case? That's kind of what I'm going for here, but I may change the legs, for example, as I do this, like so.
Nice. Right, by the way, we do have votes for Whisk 1 in the chat. They love that.
Oh, for the ship. That's a good idea.
Yeah, for the ship name.
I like that. Whisk 1. But this gives me a chance to talk about the technique of silhouetting, in the sense that, I don't always, shall we say, sketch first. Sometimes I'll just silhouette out a shape. I guess that looks kind of more like an alien, but we'll make it robot-like. Sometimes I'll silhouette the shape out first, and then kind of fill in the details.
Yeah, that seems to be a through line with a lot of your work, is like you figure out that exterior shape first, and then the rendering comes in, and it's like pop, pop, done. It seems like you're just like, oh yeah, and then light here, exactly where it needs to be. It doesn't seem like you go over it a lot and like rethink how your lighting works. It's like you get it first try, which amazing.
And not entirely, but thank you.
Of course, not always, but just in general with this piece, it looks very like one and done.
Well, yes, I am trying to move a little quicker than I normally would, but yeah, it's I guess, as a side note, one of the things I've been trying to do personally, like I mentioned yesterday, if you're, or at least I'm always trying to learn. So I am trying to improve my confidence when working digitally. I think with paper, I'm a lot more comfortable with it. It's easy. And so I find myself sometimes hesitating when I work digitally. So I've been working really hard in the background to just see, I was on the wrong layer there. Okay.
Didn't we abandon layers long ago?
I know.
Thought it was YOLO time.
It is YOLO time. Just want to lighten up some of these background structures here so they're not as saturated. But I've been trying to work at just committing and rolling with whatever it is I do with regards to my digital illustrations. So
nice. Do you have any advice for those?
I'm glad you observed that. I was just going to say, I'm glad you observed that. Any advice for those who
are doing the same, who are trying to get more comfortable digitally and all that?
Well, again, mileage, but I think for me, it's a bit of just rewiring or reframing how I think of the tool. So there are advantages to working digitally, for sure, that exist. Like being able to zoom in or undo. I just try and tell myself that I'm not going to undo.
Right.
and just roll with it. So I don't think I've done very many undos today anyways. I did a few yesterday,
Nice.
but just consciously telling myself. So I actually worked at General Motors as well, did an internship there, and I learned a really cool tip from one of my coworkers, and who was an intern at the time as well. And his goal was to commit to not overworking his sketch. And what I liked about it was that he gave himself a target. Hey, I'm not going to go over a line in my sketch more than twice. So
Oh, wow.
if he drew a line like that, for example, actually maybe I should add a spaceship streaking off in the sky. But if he adds a line, he would commit to not going over it more than once. So then the next line would be something like that. But giving yourself that constraint, I think, mentally anyways, can kind of help. So your constraint might be, hey, I'm not going to undo. Cool.
Right. Yeah.
Just
no undo, limited color palette. There are a lot of different exercises to kind of train yourself to use what tools you have available, and you never know what you're going to find through that.
Yeah, exactly.
That also reminds me of a story I heard from Glen Keane, a CTN, a few years ago. Glen Keane is one of the lead animators on a lot of the Disney Renaissance films, doing things like Ariel, The Beast, Aladdin, stuff like that. And extremely accomplished artist. He said that when he came to Disney, he showed them a portfolio and they only liked one page of it. And it was this one page where he had these lined figures where it was just like 2 lines to be an entire figure, basically. And they said, show me a portfolio of just this and come back. And so he went to the beach and he drew a sketchbook of just 1-line figures and picked the best and put them together. And he said it was one of the best learning experiences of his life because he learned that they wanted the least amount of information on the page to tell your brain all the story. And that was like basically how he got into Disney.
That's really cool. So like a monoline.
Yeah, kind of like that, where it's just, but like as minimal as possible. So not like a line that keeps going and going.
Okay, gotcha.
I bet you if you Google like Glen Keane 1 line or something, maybe there are pictures of it. But yeah, it was an interesting idea because a lot of times people see more simplistic art and think like easier. When you're an artist, whew, no.
Yeah, another question I get frequently in my teaching is, how do you know when to stop?
Yeah.
How do you know when enough's enough? And some of that comes with experience, but my point in bringing that up is that restraint as a creative can be very hard. And the more experience you have, I think the easier it becomes to say, hey, I'm just going to use, in his case, maybe it's the monoline thing. But it does come with experience, knowing when to stop.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. By the way, Kendall has expanded on our name for the ship. She says Whisk-1, then EGG.
Whisk-1, EEG.
EGG, so it's egg.
Oh, whisk egg. Oh, whisk EGG1. I like that. That. All right, so I'm gonna assume maybe it's a human ship and a robot happens upon the scene as these humans are exploring here. So let's have another silhouette kind of crouched down, taking a look at.
They were unloading the barrels. This was some kind of, I don't know, expedition where they brought something back.
Maybe so. All right, I am going to switch brushes in just a sec here and start using some rakes to continue to add texture. I love painting rocks. Mm-hmm. So much fun.
Rocks are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you said yesterday, but we haven't really mentioned it today, this is taking inspiration from the Utah landscape. So
yeah, a little bit. I do have these pictures here. Where did they go? It's below my painting right there. Yeah, so we use some inspiration in terms of just some of these rock forms, but I'm also leaning on prior experience as well in terms of the shapes and so forth. So got some arches in the background, some buttes, some mesas, some rocks. Maybe add a little bit of vegetation here and there as well.
I wonder if we can make up a name for the planet as well. By the way, Cody is saying we got to figure out what EGG stands for.
Ooh. EGG. Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Exquisite gas giant.
Maybe that is the exquisite gas giant off in the distance. But the ship is EGG, so
yeah. Oh man, what could it be? But I feel like with EGG, I don't know. I want now, like, well, the ship is this beautiful sage green color, but I could also imagine the cockpit being like that golden yellow and then the rest of it white, and it's EGG.
Ooh.
Oh,
oh, that's interesting.
Don't change anything, but I was just.
I mean, it could play around. Maybe there's a yoki circle or something.
Yoki.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
There is no wrong answer. There's only egg. Have you seen oh golly, it's Gudetama?
I have not.
Oh, it's an egg character and he don't care. He great. It's just like a lazy egg with a little butt.
Is it one of those kawaii?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, Kendall says it's a green egg. Ah, how perfect.
Green egg.
And the
pilot is ham.
Oh my gosh. It could be like made from a radio. Ham radio. Oh, Paloma says ergonomic. I like that. Ergonomic Grand Galactic. Or galactic. Okay, yeah. I read it right. I can read. Woo.
Experimental galactic something.
Ooh, experimental. The real question is, if this is in the Star Wars universe, then would it be Empire, Resistance, New Order, any of that stuff?
Maybe. The Final Order.
No. 66.
Execute Order 66. I mean, it kind of looks like a 6.
Oh my gosh, it does! Oh
no! we'll just call that our Easter egg. Okay, I'm gonna
the puns.
I gotta stop with the puns.
Wordplay. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is great.
So maybe just some color paint smudges around it here, and some weathering. I know my kids. I love dad jokes. Or just cheesy parent jokes. We'll call it that. I just love those. So I'll mess with my kids all the time, and they've gotten in the habit now of telling their own.
Oh yeah.
Jokes.
That's how you train them to have that kind of humor. Oh, it's so good. Honestly, though, I think that kind of humor is the best for your brain. You're making connections. You're being clever.
I agree.
General Kenobi says Empire's Galactic Guard. Ooh. I like this beat up old ship is like, this is the Galactic Guard. Yes. Anthony Jackson says the wordplay on this stream. Yeah, that's right.
What did the Flame say to its partner on their anniversary?
Flame on, I burn for you. What?
I mean, those are great too. You said that without a beat. Those are great too. I think it's time we rekindle our love.
Oh, love it.
That's
it's like almost popsicle stick humor.
That's my son's joke. That was my son's joke.
Woohoo! What's his name?
His name is Oliver.
Oliver. Great job, Oliver.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh man. I did that one time with James. We were just standing out on our balcony and I was like, can you think of a popsicle stick joke? And so we like tried to come up with a few and it was bad. They were so bad, but in the best ways. I think, oh golly. What did the bird say when a sail started? That was really badly worded, but
I don't know.
Everything's cheap, cheap, cheap.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Everything's so cheap, cheap, cheap. Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Paloma says maybe the ship just delivers eggs through the galaxy.
Maybe it does.
Like egg delivery. Here it is.
Maybe it does. I mean, we did shade a sphere before. Why not have an egg somewhere?
True. Why not? I am absolutely loving this lettering on the side too. It's so effortlessly perfect. Great job. Or it looks effortless, you know. I know you're trying hard, but it's very great.
Thank you. All right, so got some silhouettes here. I guess actually, since I am on the same layer, I've got to do this differently.
Nice. Yeah. How differently are you, or how are you approaching it that you would say is different, just for the folks?
So normally if you work on multiple layers, you can erase things independent of other things and not, you know, so if I erase now, we'll just have the background color showing through, which is all the way down here. However, since this is all in the same layer, I actually have to paint. So I just picked the color next to this dark color here, and still on my eraser, back to my brush. So I might pick even this kind of brownish mauve taupe color, paint that in, and try and recreate what the landscape would look like behind this
Nice.
this canister. So that's how I'm erasing instead of actually just erasing on a layer. So,
yeah, it's like painting on top instead, which is kind of like traditional approaches where
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't get to erase your, you know, oil paints.
Maybe. I think you said it better. You've said it better than I did. But yes.
Whatever.
But yes, exactly. That's how you do
it. Ferry, by the way, is saying that the fuel for the ship is hollandaise sauce. Very into it. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're gonna get some egg branding on the barrel. Oh,
you know, it's part of the ship, so might as well have a couple.
have it.
Couple characters here and there, or at least the hint of a character.
Yeah.
Right. So now with this guy, I can start to lighten things up. Since the light is in front, I can use that to bring out some details here.
Very nice. And yeah, you got a super, like, you know, you can tell it's kind of humanoid, but it's definitely not a human kind of character out of this.
Yeah, I modified it so it wasn't feeling too humanoid, or rather, you know, changing the joints, things like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
In the head shape, I feel like, you know, human eyes always go to the head, and if it's not like head shape can be a lot of different things, but that one just makes it feel like, oh yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, if you guys like robots, I'm always doing robots somewhere on my Instagram. So
sketchday.com.
That's right. Sci-fi and robots, love doing that, and product design.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, in about 15 minutes, we are going to be doing the artist spotlight. So we are going to be highlighting one of you guys. If you want to nominate yourself or someone you love, you know, love their work of, you can nominate them in the tab right above the chat. And next time you could be the spotlit artist. Is that the correct terminology?
Spotlighted. I don't know.
I have no idea. Language. Wayne says cyborg guard dog. So we gotta have a guard dog now. Just keep adding. Is there any like reference that you have that tells you how to draw legs like that? Because I feel like that's a really cool leg shape.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't have anything right now, but basically, let's see. I'll do this on a new layer, so I don't totally mess myself up here. Because I think I may have. Okay, let's just make sure. All right, cool. So in terms of leg shape, I'll just use some gray. You know, from the side, I'm thinking in terms of you know, actual moving parts. Something like this. So if you look at something like a dog, for example, and their legs, you kind of get the structure. This is a bit exaggerated. but there are references in, I think, media, sci-fi, video games, things like that, where you do see kind of this leg structure. So um, if I wanted to have some other weird creature, I could do something like that from the side.
You're getting your cyborg dog.
Yeah, another good reference, I guess. This just came to mind is the Boston Dynamics robots. Have you guys seen those?
Absolutely. The little guys that they kick over. So
Yeah, they
sad.
have interesting leg shapes. Yeah, they kick and push them over. It's terrible, but they, they do have interesting leg shapes. So sometimes I'll reference things like that, or it might just be how like even a production line robot articulates and moves. You can pull reference from things like that. What I mean is, look at a robot in a factory and how those parts move, and it can often give you inspiration.
Absolutely. That was called Boston Dynamics, right?
Yeah, Boston Dynamics. I think there was a video that they just put together where all the robots are dancing
Oh my gosh. Gotta see that.
in sync. Yeah, they did it for, I think it was the New Year or Christmas, something like that. But
and if you guys don't know the whole kicking over thing, they're just trying to test making them rebalance themselves when put off balance. So it's not actually just to be mean to the robot dog.
I mean, Skynet and all, we'll see.
I know they're gonna come back and be like, you remember that kick? Arthur, why? All I wanted was love, but you have chosen war.
Oh man. All right, so if you I think I mentioned yesterday as well that Fresco comes with awesome brushes all around. So if you want to just play with the defaults, you can find some interesting things. So I want to add some scratches to the ship. So I'm going to go to my rakes here and just pick whatever rake works for you. Let's try this textured rake. See how this looks. Or are you not showing up? Am I on the right layer? Okay, I'll do the short rake.
There we go.
But yeah, if I want to just add maybe some texture to the ship.
And the rakes are basically just really like stripy brushes. They give you a lot of texture.
Yeah, they just give you lots of texture. So another digital brush. I already have the canvas texture, but if I do want to add some artifacts.
Well, and it gives a little motion, like having those straight from the little, what would you call that? The cylinder on the side. It feels like that's like an engine and it's been burning.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of an intake. So I figured having some streaks here would be cool.
Always think of that when you're putting like wear and tear on something. What would logically be worn and torn?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh!
We're never going to hear the end of that today.
Is there a favorite way of cooking eggs for you?
It depends on what I'm using the egg in, but I do like poached eggs.
Same here. I was saying that in the chat. Poached eggs are my favorite way to cook it.
Poached are pretty good. Or scrambled.
Of course, a good scramble-y.
Solid. Always a solid choice.
I think also I almost always put hot sauce or salsa on it, but depending on what, the dish is. If it has, I think eggs Florentine would be my favorite.
Heresy. Ketchup, man.
Ketchup! No way!
Yeah, I'm a ketchup on eggs guy. Sorry, everyone.
More hot takes with Spencer.
Fight!
No, so far you've been very open-minded to basically all the food stuff. You said that, what was it, pineapple on pizza? Good.
Pineapple on pizza is okay. I don't know why olives exist, but I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Olives, thank you for allowing them. Wow. I was just talking in the chat about how I just cooked or baked olive loaf of bread.
No.
Oh yeah, Kalamata olives.
Oh goodness.
Maybe you just haven't had the right type of olive yet. There are a lot of different flavors.
Maybe I haven't.
Ooh, oh, sorry, go on.
Whenever I walk by an olive bar in a supermarket, though, I'm just like, ugh.
What are those balls? What's going on over there?
Yeah, you know how you mentioned Tillamook, Oregon, and the smell? That's how I feel about olives.
What? Oh, well, Castello-Vetrano. That's what you should try. They're like buttery.
Okay.
They're very easy on the palate.
I mean, I'm willing to try most things, so yeah, I'll give it a I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I'll send you a jar of them.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to commit to a jar of olives.
A big
but...
jar, like Costco size.
Oh,
Yeah. It's going to be great. By the end of it, you'll just be like, these are my favorite thing in the world. Fairy says, sometimes I eat eggs with sweet soy sauce. I have never even had sweet soy sauce. I want to try that.
I've never had sweet soy sauce. That's interesting. Yeah. So it's not salty. It just has the soy sauce flavor and...
I don't know. I have no idea. I've heard of dark soy sauce, but I think that's just even more concentrated soy flavor. So not necessarily sweet. At least that's my assumption. Golden Rose says, I approve of pineapple on pizza. Boom. More approval.
That's right.
And Golden Rose also says, he blasphemed the olives. No. Oh, it's so funny how like the second you don't like something we like, it's like, oh, okay, well, there's got to be a time when you try it. As if you haven't already tried olives. I'm sure you've had plenty of experiences.
I mean, yeah, unfortunate ones, but yes.
Wow. Oh man, they're like my favorite part of everything they're in, but that's okay.
I mean, olives on pizza are good. I will say that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but that's about the only context I enjoy them.
Do you like them baked on or fresh on top?
Definitely baked on.
Okay.
Got to bake out that flavor.
Got to dry them out so they're barely an olive. Love it. Guys, remember to drink water, save your work, and what was it? Stretch your
wrists, right?
Wrists. Yeah, sure. Cody knows the exact whole thing.
Something like that.
Oh, Fairy says, I've never tried olives, to be honest. What? I only know about olive oil. Oh my gosh. Olive oil, to me, unless you get really fancy stuff, it doesn't really taste like olives.
Yeah, it's got to be like cold press or something like that, right?
Ooh, I don't know. Is this like a watercolor paper?
Or
cold
it's
press, hot press?
extra virgin olive oil or something. I'm trying to remember.
From your olive oil classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Kendall hath called forth the monkey paw stretch. This is what I do on my streams. You stretch your wrists by doing 4 different poses.
Oh.
Do you want to do them together?
I've never done it. Sure, let's try it.
Yeah, let's do monkey paws, you guys. I'm taking over.
I've never done this before. What is this?
Yeah, so put your arms out straight and then fingers to the sky and then curl them into what we call a monkey paw. And then you got to go ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Do I really have to do ooh, ooh, ah?
Oh, yeah, you got to. It's the monkey paw. It's not a monkey paw without it.
Ooh, ooh, ah. Okay.
Good job. Okay, then you put your fingers down, palms towards yourself, and then curl your fingers in. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, 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 ah.
Ooh, ah. Do you feel any stretch in your wrist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my forearms, actually.
Ooh. And then the third pose is you flip your palms out, fingers down, curl your fingers in. And then the last pose is palms towards yourself, fingers to the sky, and then curl them in. And you just repeat that and hold for like a few seconds each. And you're supposed to do it like once every hour, 25 minutes if you can do it. And it's supposed to, take care of your wrists a little bit, prevent carpal tunnel and arthritis and things like that.
I have never tried that. That was interesting.
Good. We'll take interesting. But if you feel any stretch in your wrists, I feel like, it's just a sign to keep doing it and take care of yourself, because we're all going to have problems with our hands eventually. So we got to take care of ourselves to prevent the worst of it.
Yeah, I have noticed sometimes if I'm, it usually only happens actually painting digitally, but if I'm using, say, a Wacom stylus for a long period of time, I'll get wrist strain for sure.
Oh man, it's no good.
Yeah.
Do you have any way of counteracting it?
I just take a break.
The best way to counteract it.
Yeah.
rest.
Yep. Just take a break and it's fine.
By the way, we have about 4 minutes left before the artist spotlight.
All right.
Super excited for that.
So I mentioned yesterday as well that referring a lot to yesterday's stream. So if you missed it, check it out. But closer to the viewer, or the foreground rather, the more details there's going to be. So at this point, I'm trying to just pull, or I will be working on adding more detailed, finer strokes, things like that, closer to elements that are in the foreground, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Kendall says it's very helpful to keep the body moving. She says she stretches in the morning right when she wakes up, which is always a good idea. Fairy says, I usually stretch my back in my chair while I'm doing my work. Yeah, get moving. And also remember the legs because they're just like sitting there. So wiggle them around, do stuff with them. And Cody Bear says, I've had RSI for 2 years from drawing and it's awful. Take care of your wrists. Definitely.
Oh, really?
Sorry about that, Cody.
Yeah.
Very important. And JC says, can't type, doing monkey wrists. Love it. Yes. Thank you for doing them with us. It's always more fun when you have multiple people getting in on it.
Actually, I'll stretch my shoulders and elbows from time to time, but I've never actually stretched my wrist. So
nice. Yeah. Wrists are important, but the whole body's important. Neck stretches as well. This is when I learned actually from Sister Sunshine, Heather Hawkinson, who's on here a lot. It was putting your ear as high as you can when you're putting your head to the side. And it's like supposed to really help your neck on each side. And also, what was it? Oh, Wayne was saying that this is looking great. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Wayne.
Absolutely. And Andre says, this monkey paw stretch really works. I'm going to add it to my list. We love to hear it. Do you, by the way, Spencer, do you have anything that's like ergonomic that you work with?
You mean to help with my creative process and working?
Just for keeping yourself like as healthy as possible. Do you have a good chair? Do you have a...
I've actually been shopping for a chair. I currently am seated on a stool. It's a wooden stool, but I do have one of those gel cushions I sit on.
Good. Okay.
For a while. I like stools, but I'm also realizing that they're not great for my back.
Well, there's got to be an in-between. I've seen some fancy chairs that are kind of stoolish, that are ergonomic or orthopedic or whatever you want to call it, good for you.
Yeah, there's got to be something in between.
We're down to the last minute before the spotlight. Everybody count down. No. No, just whenever there's a good breaking point, we can switch over. But I hope you're having fun. This is looking awesome.
Thank you. I am having fun. I'm just glad that we're not blinking constantly like we were.
We don't remember that. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's almost like it was another dimension or something.
Interstellar. I just love that it's egg now. Egg one.
Egg one.
We're an eggy one.
We'll add some more symbols and lights and a few other things. Don't worry.
Ooh. Yeah. How about when we come back? Because now it's time for the artist spotlight.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Super smooth. So today we are spotlighting one of you guys. And today it is Golden Rose. Hey. Oh, my gosh. So Golden Rose, let's take a look at your Behance profile. It looks like you've got quite a lot of project views and appreciations. And in your profile, it says, budding graphic artist, turning a new page and starting a new chapter in life. I'm utterly elated and nervous at the same time. I love to hear that. That's all of us. So we're going to take a look at some of your work and just highlight it. So guys, go over and follow Golden Rose if you want to see more of their work. Let's see. This looks like, office hours, Adobe Abroad, Rush Mobile assignment. A day in the life of me, sorta, more like a half day. And I don't think you guys can hear this, but there is music playing, by the way. Oh, this is like a little morning routine kind of thing. That's so cool. And eggs. Cool. It's all connected. The egg universe. Looks like ketchup on eggs. Oh my gosh, Spencer.
Ooh, very cool.
Oh, this is so cool. So Rush is actually a mobile video editing program that Adobe has. So if you guys are interested in editing videos, Bernie, all the Bernie memes make me so happy. But anyways, yes, this is what you can do with Rush, is edit some of your videos together, which is very cool.
Yeah, I use Premiere on desktop quite a bit. Haven't thought about using Rush yet, but I'll have to check it out now. Thanks for the inspiration.
Definitely check it out. It's very much worth it. Also, I love this jade plant that you got going.
I'm terrible with plants.
Really?
Yeah, this is impressive.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, anybody who knows everything about their plant and like cleans the leaves, that's so like adorable and sweet. But yeah, I feel like I love plants. Not all of them love me back. You just got to find the right one for you, Spencer. All right, so that we can look through more of your work, I'm going to pause this for now, but I definitely want to keep watching because I want more plant care tips. I love that. So let's check out more of your work. Ooh, we've got smile. Oh yeah, appreciated. Look at these beautiful colors. I love it.
I'm always impressed by hand lettering.
Always, right? Yeah. Well, you just did some for us, so you know all about it.
Mine had no curves. This is impressive.
Absolutely. Another thing is curves. Honestly, they are very difficult to get right. And also filling the space with the different like swoops down and everything. I think you did a really great job with that. Could definitely see this being a sticker or something. Smile. Slap it on something. Hand lettering practice inspired from Illustration Masterclass led by Paul Tranny. Oh, hey, yeah.
Shout out, Paul.
Absolutely. Love it. Ooh, and we've got a moon waterfall. What is this? Okay, these are some of my practice pieces done in GIMP. One during the end of 2020. I don't know why I said 2020. 2020, yeah. Oh, I love this one. The moon pouring over.
It's because it's hard to say 2020.
2020.
There are a lot of
I don't want to say it. Come on. Oh, I love it though. This is a beautiful piece. I just feel like this has such a mood to it, and anything fantastical makes me so happy.
I wonder, does it say what tools those? Oh, okay, GIMP. Awesome.
Yeah, this one was GIMP.
It reminds me a little bit of Photoshop Camera if you guys haven't checked that out.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's a really cool tool. You can take a picture and it'll actually there is a filter that'll turn a daytime scene as nighttime with the moon, and it's really cool. But this reminded me of it. Very
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
By the way, these ones are Auto Sketchbook practice pieces. Woohoo! Oh yeah, landscape image to experiment with various brushes and strokes. So yeah, getting the feel for it in a landscape like this is a really smart idea, just to, you know, practice with brushes. But then if you have something in mind, like a landscape, a simple one, because landscapes obviously can get really complex.
Yes, they can.
It's a really good way to practice things.
Yeah, I see the thirds kind of like we talked about yesterday as well. So breaking up your composition into thirds, nice use of the rule of thirds there.
Definitely. Having that horizon line not cut in the middle of the picture. Definitely. Much stronger way to compose. We've got, I played with using shape fills and gradients. I like how some of the glow effects happened. It was a cool accident. Yeah, that's how we like to do it. Cool accidents. Very nice colors. Ooh, and we've got a beautiful fire going on here, crackling in the middle of a moonlit night. And a shooting star. It reminds me of Animal Crossing whenever there are meteor showers.
You know, I've heard about Animal Crossing. I haven't played yet.
Spencer, do you have a Switch?
I do have a Switch.
We gotta get you on there.
Okay.
It's so good. If you like games like that, I know that not everybody enjoys it, but oh man.
All right. I have heard of it, but haven't played yet.
I literally just did a stream of it yesterday, and if you want to know anything about the game, you can like ask me anytime, because it's real fun. I enjoy it a lot. It's basically wish fulfillment. Build what you want your real life to be. All right, so Golden Rose says, glow brushes are magical. That is what drew me to this YouTube tutorial. This campfire scene has been one of my proudest accomplishments thus far. It was also an experience that really helped me learn about using and transforming layers. Thank you so much, Golden Rose, for adding this the text to your projects. I think that's really important when just discussing how you feel about a piece and what made it come about. And you should really be proud of this. This is a beautiful piece. It adds so much mood to it, like you're in the space. You can feel what that moment would be like.
The lighting's really cool. I like the warm and cool lighting as well. It kind of helps what's the word? Improve the emotion of the scene.
Absolutely. Yeah. Having that strong, just like it's also kind of a compositional element where the moon and the fire could be competing, but because everything else is cool and that fire is warm, it just adds that extra emphasis.
Yeah, it pulls you in.
Definitely. And I want to sit next to that fire. If it was Breath of the Wild is the other Switch game that I absolutely love. Spencer, have you played that one?
I don't know. I have a Zelda game. I think it is Breath of the Wild, but I haven't really gotten into it as much as I should. So
if you can climb and jump, it's Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And it is absolutely gorgeous. And this feels like one of the scenes you would have in it. They even have shooting stars in that game too. It's so perfect.
Ooh, awesome.
But if you sit by the fire, you can pass time. So you could go to daytime. Oh yeah. And these are some Inkscape practice pieces. Ooh, and these are vector. Interesting. We haven't really talked about vector, but you can also use that in Fresco.
You can.
Love it. Fish. That's a very creative use of text. Love it. Ooh, Night Forest. This feels like a video game asset to me. Like some of the indie games that I've seen, they are like very heavily using gradients like this in a very effective and beautiful way.
Yeah, and then the color and lighting scheme actually kind of help reinforce the focus at the center as well. So I like that.
I also like how the clouds break away. Just a little boop, boop. Ooh, yeah. One of my favorite pieces to date. A friend allowed me to use one of her images to practice a low poly res art with. Oh, that's so cool. There's something very calming about creating pieces like this. The images can be very deeply detailed or very basic in details. I opted for more details. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's fun when you have these, I'm trying to think of the right word here, low poly illustrations. And if you squint your eyes and look at it, you kind of get the full picture of what it is. And it's fun to experiment and see, okay, how little can I do and still represent, a real photo or portrait. And I think this is a really nice approach here. Right.
Which is so funny that it's like low poly from 3D kind of talk, but it reminds me of Chuck Close, the fine art painter.
Oh yeah, Chuck Close. Yep.
Totally.
Yeah,
that's what it calls me back to. Thank you so much, Golden Rose, for sharing your work. This is, again, the Artist Spotlight, so we want to encourage you guys to go follow Golden Rose and support their work and just follow along in their journey, because that's what we're all here for. And thank you so much for sharing your work here on Behance. We love having you. Also in the chat. Woo! Oh, man. All right. So we have about, 20-ish minutes.
All right.
So we have that much time. Go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how far we get here. But like I said, just continuing to add details where we can.
And Golden Rose is in the chat, by the way, saying very giddy right now.
Golden Rose, nice work.
Woo!
Love it.
Oh, that's also a thing in Animal Crossing. Golden roses, you can grow them. Ah!
So is it like an RPG or something?
You're a character. You're on an island, and you have villagers that you can talk to. So in that, I don't know if that's technically RPG really, but the main plot or like play style of the game is basically you're just building up your island to be your ideal island. So it's really more like a kind of sandboxy.
Okay.
I don't know what the proper terminology is for it, but it's really fun.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Just like, yeah, watch a video of somebody playing it, see if it's your bag. Because it is somewhat like there are chores to do, but like if you think of it as building up, then it's not very chorey. But everybody has their own kind of game that they love. Do you have a favorite video game?
Does chess count?
Absolutely, chess counts.
I play an obscene amount of online chess.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you use chess.com?
I do use chess.com.
Nice. I have a profile from like 7 years ago.
Oh, all right. Well, if you're up for a challenge, let me know.
Oh, no. If you're up for a very easy win. Oh, yeah.
Failure is a chance to learn.
Absolutely. I just don't really have the desire to learn, unfortunately. But I'm super glad that you are into that, because I think, once again, having hobbies and extracurricular things as an artist is so important.
But yeah, I do enjoy playing chess quite a bit. And then I'm trying to think what else. Nothing right now. I mean, I used to more when I was in college. I used to play more video games, but not as much lately.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's definitely a time thing.
It is. Yeah. I have games that I've bought that I've unfortunately not opened just because I just haven't had time.
That's unfortunate. We gotta like give you a vacation so you can open them.
Yes.
And really
vacation from life.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Robert says I have 1,240 hours in Animal Crossing.
Oh wow.
What? Oh my goodness.
I don't know what that means exactly, but it sounds like a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. Yeah, it's a lot of time. It came out in, I think, like March of last year, in the US at least. And so yeah, that's a lot of playtime. Good job, Robert. I want to see your island. Send me a dream code. Oh man. And Cody Bear says the main thing that sets AC, which is Animal Crossing, apart from other games is that it's in sync with the system clock. Yes, so there are times of day that correlate with your time of day.
So if you only play at night, it's
always nighttime.
You're only going to get the night things happening.
For sure. But it's the system clock. So if you change the system clock on your Switch, then it'll be that time.
In other words, if you cheat.
It's a manipulation of sorts, but everybody has a different opinion on whether it's like good, bad, whatever. Personally, I don't care, but I think that as long as you're enjoying the game, that's the way it's supposed to be played.
I'm teasing.
Oh yeah. I agree. I think it's whatever it is, but it's so much fun to have it kind of correlate with your day, at least somewhat, because then you feel like it's really rainy outside or something. You go into the game, maybe it's not raining there, and it feels like a little reprieve. And right now, at least in the northern hemisphere, it's all snowy because we're technically in winter.
Oh, so it doesn't pull from the weather as well, just the
time of day. Yeah,
that would be interesting if there was a game that pulled from the weather too.
The exact weather you have outside.
Yeah.
It would always be raining here. I want to get away from the rain, and when it's sunny outside, I guess I don't want to play the video game because it's sunny. Kendall says I have Animal Crossing for over a week now. Lots to do. Oh yeah. Oh, and Robert actually gave me the dream code for his island. Oh my gosh, thank you. By the way, dream codes are just a way to see the island without having to connect. It's basically just you get to see what it's like without, moving things or touching things or whatever.
I figured as much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or some way to share what you're up to, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Robert. Kendall says, I always play at night, but I've been trying to play earlier. But work is important too. Just a little bit,
Work schmirk.
Is that what you say when you got to get something done on a deadline? You're just like, work schmirk.
Totally. No.
Don't.
I will say sometimes I can be a procrastinator. I will say that.
Do you think that's one of the biggest things you struggle with?
Yeah, I think for me personally, if we want to get personal on the show today,
yes.
Yeah, sometimes I just get paralyzed by analysis. I will kind of, overanalyze something or just kind of work myself up into a frenzy about it, and it can be a bit debilitating, which then leads me to procrastinate because I want to avoid that thing. Um, so yeah, it's a struggle for me for sure.
Absolutely. I think everybody feels that. And that's why I ask, is just because maybe we can help people through that. Because, I mean, we all go through such similar struggles as artists sometimes. Paralysis, analysis, analysis
It's,
paralysis. Ugh, that's very common.
yeah, I think for me, the thing that does pull me out of it is, well, time pressure helps. The closer I am to a deadline, the more I'm like, okay, it's time to snap out. Just you know,
Do
get it
the
done.
thing.
Get it done. Um,
Easy enough to say, harder to do.
yeah, but also, everyone needs an emotional support human. So for me, that is my sister. Sometimes
Aw,
I'll call her up and, hey, here's where I'm struggling, or uh, not doing well today, and she'll kind of help me out. So
that's lovely.
yeah, emotional support humans. We all need them.
That's such good advice. Yeah, having somebody to reach out to. I'm super glad that you have somebody like that. And if you guys don't, then just try to reach out to that person that you feel closest to and kindle that bond and say, like, hey, maybe I don't always open up like this, but right now I'm having a time where I'm like going through a thing mentally. Like, I need to get myself out of it. Can we talk? And I think opening up like that is really, really important as a human being and especially as an artist, because a lot of what we do is all encompassing, where it just becomes your life.
Absolutely.
Cody says procrastination is the best motivation. You sound like a last minuter.
Pretty much. I so as an independent creative, a lot of times I'll get freelance or client projects, gigs, things like that, and oftentimes as we're deciding timelines, I'll just say, all right, just tell me when you need it by, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out the rest. Just tell me when you need it by. In other words, let me know when the drop dead date is. That's what I'm going to work from.
For sure.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think having I also kind of set deadlines earlier in my mind if possible, where it's just like, all right, a week ahead of time, I'm gonna have it done just to
Yep.
make sure.
Yep.
Especially if it's a long-term project, because there's always going to be something that makes it take longer. Just always.
Always.
Oh, Golden Rose says, I think that the Behance and Discord communities have proved extremely helpful for a lot of us over the past several months. That's lovely. That is also a really good place. If you don't have an emotional support human, you can find them in certain communities that are really lovely. And this is definitely one of them. I actually recently recommended, my sister is, she kind of counsels children who are having a hard time. And one of the people that she was counseling, they wanted to share their artwork online. And so my sister asked me, like, is there a nice place to post art where it's not like putting it out on the internet necessarily in a way that invites everyone to just rush in with critique or anything like that, but in a way that is really supportive and lovely. And so I said, Behance right here. I honestly
Yeah.
think this is the nicest art community I can think of.
Yeah, like I said, the internet can be a scary place.
It definitely can be.
So it's definitely good to find spaces that are safe and encouraging and affirming, if you will. So
And we can all help to make it that. We can be that helpful, encouraging, affirming place.
absolutely. I think did you catch the State of the Union address? There was
Absolutely. Yeah.
that Nobel, not Nobel laureate, but
Yeah, the poet
poet.
laureate, youngest.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm gonna
amazing.
butcher this quote, but essentially it had to do with becoming the light. Sometimes we have
Yeah.
to become that light, and it makes me think of the creative community. That there are times when I need that light, but there are times when you can be that light as well.
If you have I think she said something like, If you,
I was hoping someone would look it up in the background.
no, I know it. Oh man, and I know her name. It's Amanda, but it's oh, her last name. I know it. I know it. Somebody in the chat. Thank you. I know you're going to post it. But yeah, I was literally going to make an illustration based off that quote where it's like, if we have the power to see the light, we have the power to be the light or something
I think,
like that.
Kendall just posted, there is always light if we're only brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it.
Thank you, Kendall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better because it's, hey, Amanda Gorman. There we go.
Yes. Beautiful thoughts.
I was going to say Goodman. Gorman. There we go.
All right. So here's an example where I know I made a mistake, and I'm going to try and fix this proportionally. So I'm just making a selection here on this dude. I'm going to have to do some paint touch up.
Absolutely. And can we look forward to seeing this on your page possibly?
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Because we have about 4 minutes left, and I know that
time
flies.
Time does fly. I was telling you guys yesterday, behind the scenes, little behind the scenes chat here, but you know, coming into the stream, you have these ideas like, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then before you know it, time's up. So
it happens like that every single time. There's never a day where we're like, oh yeah, I actually got more done. What? But I think you did a crazy amount, and it looks so cool.
Thanks.
So you should be very proud.
Yeah, definitely needs more work, but it's a relaxing process for me, and I quite enjoy it.
And if people want to find you on the internet, there are a lot of different things that you do. Do you want to shout out a few?
There are. So the easiest way to find me is on my Instagram or YouTube. I am at sketchaday.com. And as my name implies, I'm always sketching, doing something. I stream quite a bit. I have my Instagram as well, sketchaday.com. Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And if you're interested in other side projects, check out Mr. Project on Instagram. That's mr.project, or simply 5050.design.
What are the meanings behind those two names, Mr. Project and 5050?
Mr. Project is an old name I had from a previous life where I used to, you're going to laugh at this, but I also used to flip and renovate homes for fun.
No way.
Yeah, I do a lot of things.
You're amazing.
I've built homes, I've flipped homes, I do the furniture, all that stuff. So I just kept the handle. 50/50 is how I try to live my creative life, which is I try to take on half commissioned or freelance contract projects with my time, and allow myself the rest of my time, the other half, if you will, to my own self-initiated projects. So that's kind of the idea behind the name. And then there's a little bit of play there as well, as I tend to do projects with my sister. It's like 50/50. We're kind of half and half of the same team. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I think that Paloma basically says what we're all thinking. Spencer, what have you not done? How do?
There are many things I would still like to do, for sure.
Absolutely. I have no doubt you will.
I'm currently working on a how to draw book for myself. So
no way.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, what do you think? Like publishing, self-publishing?
I'm not sure. I'm just kind of to the point in my career and life where I needed to archive a lot of my knowledge, and so I just started writing. I don't know if anyone will pick it up. We'll see. But
we all will.
It's definitely going to be from kind of my mind and my mindset, my approach, again coming from that technical background to essentially becoming an artist and a creative person, and what my techniques and things I've learned are. So
perfect, because Andre actually just said in the chat, thanks for all the tips and techniques. Learned a lot from these creative streams. Pretty powerful. Thanks, Spencer and Anna. Hey, you're welcome.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks.
That's kind of perfect way to wrap up, because we're about at the end here. And
there's our scene.
And there we have it. Thank you so much for working on this so hard, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love this sci-fi scene that we've put together over 2 days. If you guys didn't catch the the stream from yesterday, we have that in the replays, and there's plenty more streams to come after us. So stick around and have so much fun here on Behance. Spencer, is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we leave?
Thank you for watching. Remember, passion is the process. Love what you do, and just jump right in and be creative.
Absolutely. Well said. We will see you some other time. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Take care. Bye, guys.